Hello, beautiful infinite beings of love and light. I'm Susan Shatzer. I'm a global consciousness revolutionary. The beauty of who I am as a pattern interrupter is of being in service to both humanity and the planet. My personal prime directive is to raise the vibrational frequency with love and gratitude. Today, I invite you to join me on an interesting journey. Please take a minute to strap in, making sure to securely fasten your seatbelt. I highly suggest you keep your seatbelt fastened throughout our time together, as we may be experiencing some turbulence. Now I'd like to request your full attention to these perfect 2020 foresight and hindsight vision glasses, as we will be using them throughout our journey together, because now is the time to get this party started. So don't go anywhere, because I'll see you in a minute on the other side. Hi, welcome back. As now is the time with Susan Shatzer. Today we're going to shake humanity's insanities and shift and uplift our collective consciousness, as we are joined by literally hundreds of thousands of people from all around the world through the Wellness Lifestyle Conference 2020. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be here, representing the United States of America as a 12-time #1 international best-selling author, the founder of the High Vibe Tribe, and the executive producer and host of the global TV series Unlocking Your Limitless Life. Congratulations, my friends. I'm so happy you chose to join me at this particular time. I would love to begin by offering you this Get Out of the Matrix Jail-Free card. Not to be confused with Facebook jail, as that's something completely different. You may use this card now or at any time in the future, and totally at your convenience, of course. You see, your cups are full. They're completely filled to the brim. If I attempted to add any more of anything into your cup, the contents would spill over onto the table and then onto the floor and make a complete mess. And you know what? We wouldn't want that to happen, because your cup actually represents your life/reality. So before we begin, I'm going to help you dump your cup out in order to make room for that which you truly love to have, and invite that into your life. So go back a couple years, or maybe a decade, or maybe more. Do you remember the defragmenting process that we used to run on our computers? We would run it all night long to pull out all the spaces and bring the information back into place where it would be. And in the morning, when we'd wake up, we'd have more room, more space on our computer, and it would run faster, quicker, and even easier. Well, that, my friend, is exactly what I'm about to do. I'm prepared to defrag your reality. So we're going to begin at a place that I refer to as the Infinite Possibility Center. It's where everything that you've said and everything that you've done that has happened to you, and everything that you've created, has created the you that you are today, which has led you to this exact moment where in this very nanosecond, you may choose something different. Now, isn't that liberating? I could feel many of you stop, and you have these bags, like almost like Santa Claus in the United States, where he would carry bags of toys and presents, except it's not toys and presents that you're carrying. It's your stuff and your beliefs and old programming and systems, and it's things that have been invoked and perpetrated on you, since childhood or previous lifetimes. And I just saw you all stand up, and you just dropped these huge sacks behind you. Yes, let them go. Let them go. Leave them on the roadside on our journey. Leave them on the path. Let them go. The wheelbarrows that you're pushing, go ahead and put them down and walk around them. The trailer that's coming up behind you that's attached at your waist, go ahead and unlock that, unchain that, put that trailer down and just let that go. It's trash day, my friends, and we are taking out the trash. So anything that no longer serves you, is not required and desired in this lifetime, we're going to take it out. We're going to let the trash people pick it up, and we're just going to let it go. So would you be willing to take all of your stories and chapters and books and even the encyclopedias from your childhood that you've created, you've written them, they're your stories, and from your adulthood, and immediately return them to the library as they are way overdue? And you are still paying excessive penalty fees on each of them. And please, would you be willing to allow the librarian to archive all of those stories, chapters, books, and each encyclopedia so that no one else checks them out, takes them home, and reads them into their lives? Can I get a big wahoo? They're no longer required. They're gone. So did you know that you choose your parents, and your parents chose their parents, and your children chose you? So take a minute, because you're going to take your cup, and when I say now is the time, you're going to dump your cup out. So energetically, every time I'm going to be sharing new awarenesses with you, you're going to dump your cup out. It's no longer required. So you might also be aware that you had agreed to experience all that you have experienced before arriving in the body in this lifetime. Now is the time. Dump your cup out. You might also be aware that you agreed to say and do things to others as they would have the experiences that they chose to have while embodied in this lifetime. Now is the time. Please dump your cup out. We are multidimensional beings having a human experience. So let me ask you, and get ready, because this may be a mind trip for some of you. What if it isn't anyone's fault? What if you never said or did anything wrong? What if there's no one to blame, not even you? Oh my, I can feel and hear cups being dumped out all over the place. Thank you. Thank you for letting that go. Our next step is going to be where science meets awareness. So did you know that every molecule has consciousness? So guess what you're made of, my friends? Yes, that's right. You're made of molecules, and those molecules have consciousness. So did you also know that everything is energy? So that includes the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the technology we use, as well as our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions. They are all energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Energy is made of molecules, and molecules which have consciousness. So did you get where I'm kind of going with this? Awesome. Now is the time. Dump your cup out. Okay, good. So have you ever walked in a room and without anyone saying a word, you knew there had been a disagreement or a fight? This is what I call reading the energy. Of course you did, right? And if you're not willing to acknowledge that, would you please be willing to dump your cup out? Have you ever said or heard someone say, if this house could talk, I'd love to know what's gone on in all these rooms? Or if that car could talk, I wonder what stories it would share. So what if that is exactly what's happening? There are people who can hear a house or a car or some other object, a plant, a pet, talk. And what if they are not weird or crazy, just open and more aware? If you're willing to acknowledge this, now is the time. Dump your cup out. Have you ever thought there had to be something else? This is absolutely, positively cannot be all there is. Well, I did have that thought. It was 8 months, 18 years ago, after my son was born. when I lost the vision in my right eye and was diagnosed with a chronic illness. It was at that moment I realized I was in an abusive marriage and my closest family lived 8 states away. I thought, this is not the life I imagined that I'd be living. This is not on my bucket list. This is not on my vision board, and it is not in my gratitude journal. This is hell unleashed in my reality. I knew there had to be another possibility because this just couldn't be all there is, not having it. I began researching and studying alternative, homeopathic, and holistic medicine and theories. I discovered how our thoughts create things. I learned what we think about, we talk about, and what we talk about, we bring about. I heard that what we say is a prayer and every prayer is answered. Then I was told I created my own reality and I continued to create my own reality. Wait a minute, full stop. Does that sound crazy to you? Of course. So I was talking with one of my mentors. I said, so you want me to believe that I created a chronic illness, a husband who leaves before our son is 2, a chemo and steroid trial drug study, and my family living 8 states away? Instead, I was asked to ask this question: what is right about this that I'm not getting? It wasn't an instant flash of awareness. I wish it was, but it didn't work that way that time. But it was an aha moment when I was willing to acknowledge the one thing that I could not be judged for, and that was having an illness. If someone was sick, they were sick. And both of us, my husband and I at the time, had been brought up Catholic, so divorce wasn't an option. I had created the whole thing I couldn't be judged for. Or I had created the one thing that I couldn't be judged for, and that was an illness. There are tons of projected wrongnesses that were invoked and perpetrated on us, especially my husband, things that came from religion and from Sunday school, the till death do us part, and in sickness and in health, and then the abandoning us before our son turned 2. There wasn't a single sliver of rightness that I could think of about this experience until another one of my mentors asks me, what if this is what you've been looking for? What if could this be the thing that you've been asking for? Of course, it was, aha. Without him there, I was able to parent the way I truly had known that I would like to parent. I couldn't do it with him in the same house. In fact, my son, who is 18 now, recently mentioned to me that he doesn't think he would be the man he is today had his dad been a part of his life. That's 2 wins for us. I'm in a place with total gratitude and gratefulness and thankfulness for him choosing what worked for him, regardless of what others thought, what others said, or what others did. What if this is one of the keys to the kingdom, my friends? Choose what works for you, beyond obligation and beyond responsibility, because now is the time. Please dump your cup. This leads me to the rightness and wrongness versus the good and bad of our reality. We were taught to make a good choice and praised when we got the right answer. We were also taught to not get it wrong and punished for making a bad choice. This is the polarity and duality of 3rd dimension planet Earth. It's not our parents' fault because they didn't know. It's not our teachers' fault because they never learned it. And it's not our coaches' fault either because they were never taught it. This is what I'd like to see shared at home and taught in our school systems. There is no good or bad or right or wrong, because all of these lead us to conclusion, to separation, to judgment, competition, and decision, all of which shut down our creative capacities. Anytime we ask a question, we always empower ourselves, and anything automatically disempowers us. Because now is the time, my friend. Please dump out your cup. So at this time, I'd love to share with you that you are energy and you happen to be with a body until you're not with the body. And then you will be energy without a body. So energy without a body is sometimes called a soul, a being, a spirit, your higher self, or something else. Guess what, my amazing friends? You've actually been around for as long as the universe, which some say is a couple billion or even a few trillion years old. Please dump your cup out. As your remaining old belief system, points of view, judgments, calculations, separations, and computations are dumped out of your cup, please let's quickly do a small recap. So everything is energy. Energy is made of molecules, and molecules have consciousness. Hence, people who can talk with energy or consciousness of plants, animals, homes, cars, clothes, and food, just to name a few. So you picked your parents, you picked your experiences, and you agreed to say and do things to others as they agreed to say and do things to you for the greater good of the soul's evolution. Your thoughts create things, you create your own reality. Asking questions will empower you, and there is no good, bad, right, or wrong. So we're all stepping out of duality and polarity and third dimension. There just is being in a state of neutrality. So please finish dumping out all of your cups now, because now is the time to stretch your feet, place your seat back in a comfortable reclining position, and let's take a stroll together back in time to 1975. It's the time when we first learned about the 100th monkey effect. Many of you may know, many of you may not. So I'm going to quickly do an explanation. On the Kajimo Island in Japan, scientists observed a female monkey go to the ocean and wash the sand off her sweet potato before eating it. She in turn taught her offspring to go to the edge of the water, wash off their sweet potato before they ate it. And they in turn taught their friends who taught their parents, and so on until it reached what these scientists called the 100th monkey effect. These same scientists were also studying monkeys on other nearby islands who had no direct contact with these monkeys on Kajimo Island. What they witnessed was that these monkeys on the other islands began to wash their food off in the ocean as well. Scientifically, the 100th monkey is explained like this. It is when the level of a critical mass reached results in a behavior pattern appearing and spreading throughout a population. In this case, it was the Kajimo Islands monkeys. Understanding this phenomenon is very important now, as it's time to step into a brand new awareness. So since December of 2019, COVID-19, isn't that interesting? 2019, COVID-19 has developed into a global pandemic. And with it comes an energy field consisting of many different fears. The fear of death, the fear of sickness, a fear of loss, fear of separation, and all kinds of different frustrations. The COVID-19 global pandemic energy container houses many different fears and frustrations which have emerged and literally traveled around the entire planet at an overwhelming speed. This global pandemic has now become the most intense mental, emotional, and physical wave in our collective human consciousness ever experienced by a human being on planet Earth at this time. Unprecedented. Humanity must be vigilantly aware of it not turning into a steady pattern in our global consciousness. So let's chat about the energetic nature of humanity. If a situation, set of circumstances, or particular experience creates a specific emotional or physical state, and that state exists for an extended period of time, it may generate a steady pattern of disruption in our personal energy field of which humanity might not be willing to be aware of and possibly dismiss it as random coincidences. This new vibratory pattern of fear, sickness, uncertainty, fatigue, separation, and death turns into an energetic consciousness containing its own individual power of dis-ease. Dis-ease, lack of ease. Once established, it could maintain and entrain COVID-19-like symptoms according to the programming since its formation, connection, and installation into our human psyche and physical bodies was established. Even more than that, upon reaching the level of critical mass, this energy field of unchecked fears has the power to create a sudden exponential increase in the number of COVID cases and deaths. At this point, the outbreak moves beyond or out of the actual viral infection. This new phase that it goes into could generate from more of a psychic to psychosomatic reaction, such as the monkeys on the other islands behaving in the same or similar manner as washing their sweet potatoes in the ocean as those monkeys on Kojima Island. Now is the time, and I challenge you to dare to be aware today. Be aware of the fear. Be aware of the anxiety. Be aware of the panic, and be willing to acknowledge the many months of emotional stress that have been generated by the media, by the closing of our schools, and by the mandatory viral work, virtual viral work environment. This energetic pattern that has been established in the collective field of consciousness can already be felt by some. It has been reinforced with the, and I put quotes around this, "I can't breathe, call for help" from George Floyd in the US, the global, and I put quotes around this, "Stay home to save lives" campaign, as well as the news showing evidence of oxygen levels being dangerously low when wearing masks. As a result, more people may begin to feel as if they are suffocating, as if they are struggling to get air or to take a breath, and as if something weighs heavily on their chest. So you may begin to see experiences of people who've been infected, and then you add the fears that have been manufactured and installed into our collective consciousness, which have led to a very powerful emotional and mental struggle that stretches around the entire globe. So remembering the 100th monkey effect for humanity, it triggers similar symptoms of COVID-19 regardless of the presence of an actual pathogen. Humans on planet Earth may now be experiencing global psychosomatic symptoms intensified by the speed of media, by the speed of the internet, and by the speed of cellular phone communication. Let's also not forget to add our past life energetic experiences of living and dying from previous pandemics throughout all time, space, place, dimensions, and realities, which may be waking up from within us and bringing added stress to our energetic fields at this time. Let's also be willing to acknowledge the old wound of systems, the old wound programming, the old wound loops, limitations, and patterning that go with these past life experiences, adding to our collective unconsciousness. You may note that those who are quarantined, along with people who are actively wearing their masks and gloves, have started to look at each of those who are not following the rules as a threat to their survival. Now is the time to ask, what would it take for us to be the observer of this which is being implanted in the global collective field of consciousness and take personal internal action which shifts the critical mass from fear to love, as now is the time. Now is the time as the coronavirus is a real illness. Now is the time to choose and implement these 8 conscious choices. Number 1, you must choose a different path, the one of love, as together we change the world. Number 2, we must collectively use science and our awareness to create a different possibility for all of humanity. Number 3, we must shift our time and viewership away from the images that are instilling fear to those of instilling love and prosperity by projecting them around us. Number 4, you must own your personal power and potency as sovereign, multidimensional beings of the light. Number 5, we must create our own lives and reality looking from the inside out with love and with gratitude for all. Number 6, we must focus our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and our actions on the true outcome that we'd like to have, not only for ourselves, but for all people, pets, plants, and our beloved planet, Mother Earth. We must step, this is number 7, into and maintain an alignment with the frequency of love and gratitude for everything and everyone at all times. Number 8, we must know that hidden inside our biggest problems truly are our greatest possibilities, which is one of humanity's superpowers. As each of us is armed with the power of love and light, we are also shielded with an angelic army who surround, walk with, and protect us at all times. Now is the time, my friends, to state our truth and collective intentions. I am powerful. I am the light. I choose to create my life. I am an infinite being of magnitude. I claim my sovereign birthright of abundance and prosperity. I am not afraid. I am of the light, from the light, and I stand in the light. I have the power and potency to persevere. I am emotionally healthy and mentally strong. I access my infinite wisdom. I dare to be aware. And I am connected, I am supported, and I am the future. Because together, my friends, we are oneness. We are light workers. We are here at this time right now on planet Earth to shift and uplift humanity and Mother Earth. Together, we are consciousness revolutionaries, and now is the time. I am so grateful and thankful for being invited to share this special message with you. I look forward to meeting you live during our 2 Zoom meetings coming up for a conscious conversation, and I'll be including my High Vibe tribe to contribute to you as well. Until I get to meet you in person someday, ciao for now. Bye.